Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are stepping right into the ancient arena to witness a truly epic contest. We're not talking about gladiators, though. We're talking about the battle for the Roman stage itself.
So let's start with the big question, right? How in the world do you entertain an entire empire? This wasn't just about putting on a nice show. For Roman leaders, this was about keeping the public happy, maintaining order, and really just diverting a massive and often very restless population. The scale of this problem was just huge.
And believe me, the entertainment they already had was pretty hard to compete with. These were the reigning champs. We're talking high stakes, violent, totally gripping spectacles. You had chariot races at the Circus Maximus. You had gladiators in the Colosseum. Heck, they even staged full-on naval battles in man-made lakes. This was blockbuster entertainment on a scale that is just wild to even think about. Our source material uses this analogy, and it's absolutely perfect. The Roman public were like channel switchers. Think about it. They had this endless appetite for something new, something exciting, and a really short attention span. If one thing started to get boring, there was always something bigger, bloodier, and more spectacular waiting just around the corner. This created an incredibly competitive world for any new kind of entertainment trying to break in. So this gets us to what we're calling Rome's big entertainment problem. Before anything we would recognize as a play even showed up, the market for people's attention was already jam-packed and completely dominated by these giant, spectacular events. And this timeline really puts it in perspective. Look how long Rome's entertainment DNA was forming before plays with plots and characters ever entered the scene. Way back in 364 BCE, they were already bringing in performers from Etruria for festivals. So when Greek drama finally makes its debut in 240 BCE, it's not stepping onto an empty stage. It's trying to elbow its way into an already packed festival lineup. And the main stage for all of this was something called the Ludi. These were these huge, state-sponsored religious festivals that just kept getting bigger and bigger until they took up more than 100 days of the year. And the Romans were so serious about these festivals that, get this, if a single mistake was made during a ceremony, the entire multi-day festival had to be started over from the very beginning. That's the world drama had to survive in. Okay, so into this wild scene comes our main challenger. As Rome's power grew and it started conquering Greek lands, it didn't just take over territory, it absorbed culture. And with that came a totally new, kind of radical form of entertainment, structured drama. So you can just picture it, right? You've got regular drama stepping into the ring as this total underdog. In one corner, you have the heavyweight champs of spectacle, the gladiators, the chariot races, and in the other corner, you have this new contender, a little more thoughtful, focused on things like plot and character and language. It was a serious clash of styles. And to really get it, you have to see this cultural difference. The Greeks, they used theater to ask these deep philosophical questions about what it means to be human. The Romans, well, they were a lot more practical. They basically took the Greek model and said, okay, how can we make this work for us? They wanted entertainment that was either super impressive and grandiose or, just a fun distraction. But here's the thing, for a while, it actually worked. During the Roman Republic, drama really found its footing. It had a golden age, and it carved out its own unique space, with its own styles of comedy, tragedy, and something called farce. And this era had its absolute superstars, especially the comedy writers. You had Plautus, who was basically the king of popular entertainment. His plays were just full of slapstick, hilarious situations, and fantastic Latin wordplay. And then you had Terence. He was a bit more sophisticated. He was famous for his really complex characters and these genius double plots, where he'd weave two different storylines together seamlessly. Now, Roman tragedy, that's a whole different beast. And the guy to know is Seneca. His plays are a perfect window into the Roman way of thinking. They'd focus on one single, all-consuming passion, like revenge or insane jealousy, that just completely tears the main character apart. But here's the crucial thing. These plays were probably never even meant to be performed in big public theaters. The real legacy, the thing that lasted, was their 5-act structure, which became a huge influence centuries later during the Renaissance. And you absolutely cannot talk about Roman theater without mentioning Atellan farce. This was the homegrown stuff, short, probably improvised, and just wild. It all revolved around these 4 hilarious stock characters you'd see over and over. Bucco, the loudmouth braggart, Pappus, the stubborn old guy, Maccus, the glutton who just wants to eat everything, and Docinus, the clever hunchback. This was raw, popular Roman comedy. But then,
everything changed. The very foundation of Roman politics shifted under everyone's feet. And this change, it would ultimately seal the fate of regular drama in its long fight against spectacle. Okay, this slide right here, this is the key to the whole story. The Roman Republic, it valued these virtues like discipline, loyalty, duty, stuff you could really explore in a serious play. But when the Republic fell and the Empire rose, all that power got concentrated into one person, the emperor. And those old virtues, they kind of faded away. The new priority was keeping the masses distracted. Bread and circuses. And that's when variety entertainment just completely took over.
And the scale of that entertainment was just staggering. I mean, even with over 100 days a year for festivals, a single event could feature 5,000 pairs of gladiators fighting. How could a simple play with a few actors possibly compete with the money and manpower being poured into these spectacles? It just couldn't.
Honestly, all you have to do is look at what they were building. The architecture tells the whole story. They built these massive, permanent stone arenas, like the Colosseum and the Circus Maximus, specifically for spectacle. Meanwhile, for centuries, plays were performed in temporary wooden structures. The buildings themselves tell you what the Romans really cared about. So, with regular drama already losing the battle for the public's attention, a powerful new force emerged. And this force wouldn't just bring the curtain down on plays, it would bring it down on all formal Roman entertainment. As you can see from this timeline, the rising Christian church began to systematically push back against the theater. It started with writers like Tertullian making arguments against it. Then you see church councils telling people not to go. And once Christianity became the official state religion, well, that opposition became law, leading to actual excommunication for anyone who chose the theater over the church on a holy day. So why all the hostility? Well, it really boiled down to three main problems. First, theater was directly connected to the festivals for pagan gods. Second, a lot of the content, especially in the comedies and mimes, was pretty raunchy and seen as immoral. And third, some of these shows apparently made fun of Christian rituals like baptism. So for the church, theater was just this unacceptable link to a pagan, immoral past that it wanted to get rid of. And so, in the year 404 CE, the gladiatorial games were officially abolished. The great age of Roman spectacle finally came to an end. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? The very thing that had crushed regular drama was, in the end, taken down by this new cultural force. The stage, for a long, long time, went dark. Which leaves us with one final thought. Did that massive Roman appetite for huge, visceral, distracting spectacle ever really go away? Or did it just change its form, evolving over the centuries into the blockbuster movies, the massive sporting events, and the reality TV we all watch today? Did Roman theater really die, or did it just change channels?